Hello everyone, it's me, Juan Gamer54, back in the video. Today, we're back. Yes, we're back, and we're going to be reacting to Film Theory, the boiled one. Again. So apparently we come out with us part 2 of this video. I didn't think that we're going to experience more about it. Especially with this Nightmare Fuel. But, you know what? It's fine, to be honest. Because apparently MatPat's back. Yeah, I know someone's gonna in the comments are gonna say, wait, why is MatPat back again? I thought it was just a one-time thing. Don't tell me he doesn't know what the word retirement is. I'm pretty sure it's just something. I'm pretty sure he's just back to promote, the suppose, I guess, 6th or 5th channel. The music ARG that he's doing, which I'll probably have to take a look at, to be honest. But anyways, guys, we're going to be doing a reaction video on it, so I hope you guys sit down and relax. But I want to at least, no. Let's keep going.
It's just the beginning. Its creator, Dr. Nowhere, just uploaded a new video, and in it he exposes us to new monstrous beings. Horrors from beyond our world, yes, but also horrors that exist inside of us. I wonder what's buried deep down in there. It's me!
It's MatPat!
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory, the show where the only thing to fear is fear itself. So right now is a peak era for independent creators in the horror scene. It seems like every day we have great new scares hitting the web that explore a lot of weird existential ideas. The Backrooms from Kane Pixels, Greylock from Rob Gavigan,
yeah.
The Man in the Suit from Unknowingly, and of course near the top of that list you have to include Silas Orion, better known online as Dr. Nowhere, creator of 2024's viral horror hit, The Boiled One.
Oh, while we're talking about horrors, I do want to at least establish one thing. So, a little quick announcement. I will say this, I think a lot... Alright, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you remember, or if you guys don't know, I did a reaction video about game theory about Lally's game. Yeah, like lallygames.com, And you clearly see that game theory has, made a video about it, saying that it's more darker than Petscop. So you would think I would make a reaction about it. But as you can check on the channel, there's no video on it. So why hasn't it happened? I'll give you an answer. It did happen, but it got taken out the internet. Yeah, you guys probably know what happened. So apparently, despite the title and despite me saying it multiple times, heck, even saying in the description, yeah, unfortunately it didn't sit right with YouTube. But hey, will say this, I'm kind of glad they did it too, because I'm not gonna lie, the thumbnail and the video that I had, what I said about it was kind of true. It was a hard video to watch, to be honest, and I'm kind of glad that, I'm not able to see it, to say the least. But yeah, I just want to put it out there. I did do a reaction to Lally's game. It got taken out, to say the least. It got snapped from the internet. I'm not really going to try to do it again. So just wanted to make it known. So hopefully this video is a little bit better and it doesn't get taken out. So let's just keep going.
In just one 10-minute video, Dr. Nowhere succeeds in creating a story all about cycles of pain and forgiveness and perseverance in the face of darkness. And that's not just me doing the whole theorist thing and overthinking the video. In a super cool way, Dr. Nowhere actually responded to our first Boiled One episode saying that, yeah, those were the core messages he was going for.
Wow.
He also mentioned that he was taking a lot of inspiration from the cursed internet videos of yesteryear. Well, Doc, you're making the cursed internet videos of today that'll be inspiring the creators of the future. That is awesome, so please keep it up. And in fact, Silas just released one of those videos. The
Really?
Compendium Instance 1 is sort of a videotape exploring several different anomalies created by Dr. Nowhere in his so-called Office of Wonders. Imagine that as like sort of a zoo for cryptids and creepypastas. Believe it or not, it's actually a format he's used before. He's used this exact same framing device advice over on his Dr. Nowhere Instagram page, which has tons of other similar creatures. First, I figured what we were seeing here was the birth of a shared universe, the NCU, if you will. That would be the Nowhere Cinematic Universe, a world where his SCP-like monsters could all coexist in one awful, horrible place. But that idea of a shared universe isn't what's going on here. Instead, we're told that
the following information has been acquired from realities that may be separate from the one you are currently residing in.
So while some of these anomalies could share a universe, it's meant as more of a collection of all things weird from across the multiverse.
Yeah.
Did somebody say multiverse?
It's Mad Pat.
Yay!
Cue the laugh track and the cheering crowd for Doc.
Yeah, welcome to my multiverse of madness, baby. Basically, it's my retirement project where I show up in everyone else's channels, including yours, Lee. Surprise!
Hey man, love the pun, but what are you doing?
Oh, so we're gonna see him in food and style theory.
Exactly. The spooky vibes that summoned me to talk about our very own brand new analog horror-inspired mystery project, Lore-Fi. Or should I call it Lore-Fi? Let me paint you a scene here, Lee. You're just sitting at your computer one day, casually downloading some free music off the internet.
Free music?
Alright, we're back. Of course, he's just explaining, MatPat was just explaining his Lore-Fi. I'm pretty sure you'll get that. Again, so he's basically going to pop up a little bit. You know, so we still got food theory and we still got style theory to watch out for. So, interesting. But anyways, let's get back to the video, shall we? Yeah, let's go.
We're talking about some spooks. Like I said, a new analog horror dropped. Do you want to hang out?
I mean, if it's anything like the boiled one, you know I'm in.
Great, because let me tell you, the way this new series from Dr. Nowhere is set up, while it might not be a giant shared universe like I first suspected, they are connected in a way that really hits close to home. The connection is you.
Me? As in retired YouTuber MatPat?
More like all of us. You, me, and everyone at home.
Sure. Yeah, I think I get what you're going for. Please continue.
Well, to understand what I'm talking about, you first have to understand this new breed of anomalies one by one. First up, the flesh beds, also known as faux beds or populus colcita, which literally means mattress people in Latin.
Mattress
Sometimes
people.
I feel like a mattress people. Just please, let me take a nap.
A lot of sleep debt built up here at Theorist HQ, right? Also, when did you learn Latin?
About 1997. You can thank Disney's Gargoyles.
Who says TV isn't educational? So, what's up with these flesh beds?
Well, despite looking like normal mattresses, these anomalies are actually parasitic organisms. Under their thin fabric skin are organs, limbs, a humanoid head.
Sounds like a lumpy night's sleep.
That's the least of your worries. They're dormant while under a certain temperature, but as they warm up from the body heat of people sleeping on them, watch out. They unfold, grab the person, and pull them inside the mattress to eat them. Because of this, Dr. Nowhere recommends that you sleep with a fan on to keep the mattress cool. Which, hey, I mean, you don't have to tell me twice.
As someone who's lived in LA and the American South, absolutely the right advice there, regardless of whether the bed wants to digest you or not.
For real, I don't think I've fallen asleep without a fan on in this millennium. Plus, you know, it's the white noise.
You know we love us some white noise. But it could also be Lore-Fi. Sorry, I just saw the opportunity to shamelessly plug and I took it.
Come on, MatPat.
These creatures were first discovered in the 1960s when a
Restrain
mattress
yourself,
company
my
found
boy.
a surplus of mattresses in one of their warehouses and donated them to thrift stores and the needy. Only for the surplus to actually be the monsters. They ate the people the company was trying to help, with the first victim being a woman named Alice Degere.
Wait, hold on. Digere? That's cute. Digere is the French word for digest, and she was literally digested by the mattress.
Wow.
For real, that's a top-tier pun/dad joke right there. Don't sleep on it.
Nice. You know, all of this reminds me a lot of the conspiracy about mattress stores that's always circulating around the internet. You've heard this one, right? Like, how is it possible that there are so many mattress stores, sometimes right across the street from each other? I mean, it's not like a thing that you're buying to frequently.
Oh yeah, that's the idea where they're like a front for money laundering, right?
Yeah, basically. Except in this one, it's more like they're a front for monsters that'll eat you if you snooze too much.
And the people they eat are pretty important. According to the video, DNA from thousands of people have been found in the stomachs of the flesh beds, dating back all the way to the 1600s. So
wow.
Even share DNA with famous historical figures like Napoleon Bonaparte.
The French short king?
The very same. Yeah, I looked into it, and did you know that the real world Napoleon died while bedridden with stomach cancer? So, in this alternate universe, it seems like Napoleon was eaten by a flesh bed instead.
And then,
Oh,
when I was
Oh.
Maybe he became one of these things. You see, a Napoleon bed is a phrase sometimes used for beds with large headboards. Maybe the term has a bit of a darker origin than we first assumed.
Regardless.
No, don't tell me Napoleon becomes a monster. No way. No way. Come on. So all the monsters are just, you know, historic figures just converted? Oh, nah.
Subhuman, a splinter branch of Homo sapien that merged with a mycelial network. If you're not up on your botany, a mycelial network is basically like fungus roots. They're super long threads that act like a fungal communication network connecting fungus to other plants and trees.
So what you're telling me here is that the flesh beds are mushroom people? Kind of like The Last of Us?
Exactly. More like flesh bread, am I right?
I see your attempt at comedy, and I respect it. Does it get creepier from here?
Oh, you know it. Next
Oh,
up on
great.
the list, we have the headless macrocosm, or mundum syncopita. That's literally the beheaded world in Latin. This one's a bit more high concept than the mushroom mattresses that eat you, but no less scary. You see, this anomaly is actually a sub-reality which is nearly identical to Earth, but instead of humans, it's full of pale, headless humanoid corpses.
Oh, great.
That is dark.
Yeah, especially when those bodies have hearts that randomly convulse and breathe through the stump on their headless neck.
Yeah, the mattresses, they were fun. This is absolutely
Dark.
horrifying. Why couldn't these be cuter or more fun, like the Headless Horseman from Sleepy Hollow? You know, the story with Ichabod Crane. I mean, it's all cute, riding around with his flaming pumpkin head when you're talking about it through the lens of Disney animations, but in reality, decapitation is pretty darn ick. Get it? Ick, as in Ichabod Crane? Lee, I am so sorry. I just get behind the microphone and I can't stop punning.
did
It's
it
a bad
again.
habit.
Funny you should bring that up. The creatures in the macrocosm have cute nicknames like Ichabodies and Cranes.
Wait, I'm not the only one? The pun game is oddly strong here.
You know, it's
Oh,
strange, but
no.
it really
We're gonna have
is.
so
But
much
here's
puns
the
here.
kicker. Despite
When
there
sand
not being
popping
any
up.
normal humans native to this weird subdimension, humans can get sucked in from their own reality. And if that happens, no one back home can remember their names, faces, or identities. The macrocosm is sort of an anti-reality.
Like a trash can for the universe.
Exactly.
Dang.
They straight up say that anything useless or dangerous gets tossed here.
Tossed in with the headless, stump-breathing, convulsing heart creatures.
Yeah, and yet somehow it gets worse. Despite being,
Worse?
dead, these corpses do react if they're physically touched. We're told about a man named Michael Tedford who accidentally brushed up against one of the Ichabodies. It sprung to life, grabbed his head, ripped it off, and put it on the stump of its own neck.
Oh,
that's
no.
beautiful. Sharing is caring.
I'm sorry, what?
Sharing is caring.
Have your head screwed on tight. Quick, because you might want to hang on tight to it for this next swim.
They get it. Stop to your dad joke.
I worry for any dad that makes that joke to their kid. Anyway,
Yep.
after putting Michael's head on, the Ichabodi transported into the true reality, into some random family's backyard. Distressed nearby residents.
Understandable.
And required government intervention to resolve. Also, you gotta love the very whelmed language of, it distressed them. I'd be slightly bothered too if the headless monster...
Real quick, are you noticing that every time we see
Oh,
Michael's
God.
name, it gets all glitchy?
Well, that makes total sense, right?
Oh, don't tell me there's a glitch monster.
It's like an anti-reality, and all names, faces, and identities get erased inside of it.
So the video can't show us his name or his face or whatever, or at least it seems to have a lot of trouble doing it. Michael's gone, as is his name and his face. That right there, that's a pretty great detail that's easy to overlook.
Yeah, and really, that's an awful fate. What's worse is that Dr. Nowhere considers this state of unbeing to be a contagious disease.
Oh,
Once you catch
great.
it, you're pulled into the macrocosm. It reminded me a lot of the idea of doomerism. That's the idea of becoming so completely apathetic or depressed to the point where you just can't bring yourself to do anything. Generally, it's felt after a really bad personal hardship or by realizing how difficult big change as a society can be. Like, how can one person have any real impact on climate change, for example?
Remember to recycle, folks.
Basically,
Right.
doomerism is a nihilistic ideology where you give up, right? You're pulled into a sort of dimension.
Sorry about that, guys. Had to do a little something.
Nihilistic ideology where you give up, right? You're pulled into a sort of dimension of non-existence where people can struggle to remember your name or face because you refuse to do anything to remind them. And the idea can be both dangerous and contagious. A lot of people really lose their head to it.
Lee, your puns, they're blowing my mind.
Speaking of,
Ah.
let's talk about our last
Ah.
of the three main monsters
Ah.
today, the obelisks of enlightenment.
I feel like I had
Ooh.
a Yu-Gi-Oh card with that name at some point.
It does.
Obelisk of Enlightenment, father of of the true north.
Your obelisk is no match for my blue eyes. But in all seriousness, you really need to do a Yu-Gi-Oh theory at some point. Always wanted to.
It's in the cards.
I see what you did there.
Anyway,
So
these
many
guys are
puns.
also
Come
known
on,
as
guys.
Illustratio Geometrica, which literally means geometric enlightenment, and really, that sums up their whole deal. These are a bunch of black obelisks between 10 and 150 feet tall with human faces.
Oh, so it's
that can do
big,
all of
big.
the normal human face things like blinking or speaking,
Oh.
except creepier. Sometimes they're alone, and sometimes they're in groups as large as 8. But they're all in remote locations around the world. Think like deserts or oceans or even the moon. They're always facing
Even
true
in the
north,
moon?
barely levitate off the ground and move very, very slowly, like 2 inches a year. But the freakiest thing about these obelisks is that they're actually sentient beings, and they know all of the secrets of the universe. In fact, they have so much knowledge that they need to constantly give information away to keep themselves together.
You sound like those random people on Reddit who feel the need to answer very specific questions that were posted like 15 years ago.
And
Yeah.
just like those Reddit threads, the obelisks make you smarter. They vocalize the excess information in a way that sounds like angelic singing to us lowly humans. Anyone who hears the singing is given a massive increase to their general intelligence, and they're
All
drawn
right.
closer to the obelisks. But if you get too close, one of 2 things is gonna
Oh,
happen.
no.
Either your brain expands too much too quickly and your head explodes, or you can accept the knowledge and become enlightened yourself.
Talk about being open-minded.
Huh. These clips, they're really leaning into this whole laugh track thing, aren't they?
But the worst part of this one, even if you do manage to get enlightened,
They
you
get
still
to destroy
basically
you.
die. You're pulled into the monolith and become part of it. Your organs unraveling and stretching into the sky. Brutal.
There we
Tired,
go.
but I already see a lot of cool, thirsty angles to this. One I'm sure that's occurred to you already is probably the idea of sacred geometry, right?
Yep, you hit the nail on the exploding head there, Matt. If you don't know, all throughout history, many philosophers have believed that there's a symbolic or sacred meaning in certain geometric shapes. So
Yeah.
they used those
Okay.
shapes while designing their art and architecture, particularly in churches, temples, or mosques. The most
Alright.
famous of these is the golden ratio. You know those memes with this spiral shape put over things like the Mona Lisa or seashells?
Or Sonic the Hedgehog.
Truly
Ah.
is blessed, as the Heavenly Father says, you gotta go fast. But this spiral shape isn't the only one considered
Hey, Sonic,
sacred.
what's good?
You also have things like obelisks, too. In the real world, a very similar obelisk sits at the center of St. Peter's Square in Rome and acts as a pivot point for the whole area. Plus, these sorts of obelisks were built as far back as ancient Egypt to act as monuments honoring kings or gods. Thus,
Alright.
sacred geometry.
And the idea of these shapes being associated with knowledge, I mean, that also goes way back. These sorts of obelisk or pyramid shapes are often connected with secret societies like the Illuminati. You know the
Oh,
pyramid with
come
the eyeball
on.
on the back of a dollar bill? That's basically been the assumed logo of the Illuminati for decades. It's called the Eye of Providence, and what do you know? It represents the infinite knowledge of God.
Yeah, good shout, Matt. That religious connection also lines up super well with a lot of the biblical language and imagery applied here to Dr. Nowhere's obelisks of enlightenment. Their music
Alright.
is described as angelic singing. Folklore around the music calls it the song of the divine contour, which is literally just a different way of saying sacred geometry. And we're even shown that the knowledge to build the pyramids was given to the pharaoh Khufu by the obelisks, who then commissioned the pyramids of Giza to honor the divine structures. Again, in the real world, the pyramids were built as religious buildings. They're a sort of sacred geometry.
So it's a
Okay.
pretty open and shut case, right? These things are clearly weird sentient pyramids with divine knowledge. Basically, they're the creepypasta version of Bill Cipher. I mean, what else could they be?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because...
I mean, let's be honest. Do we really need to specifically call them the creepypasta version of Bill Cipher? Because let's be honest. Bill Cipher is that much of a menace that I don't think there is no way you can make a creepier version of Bill Cipher. I mean, have you seen the things he has done? Have you seen the things he have committed? This man is evil.
Hear me out here. They could also be aliens.
Listen, Lee, I know we were just talking about Egypt, but you don't need to go all ancient aliens on me. I need you to keep your sanity just a little longer than I did.
No.
Ha.
Listen. Back in the 40s, mathematician John von Neumann proposed a way for
I'm not
aliens
trying to
quickly
come out of
colonize the
retirement
whole
just yet.
galaxy. In theory,
In space! Space theory.
You could send a probe to a solar system with the instructions to make 1,000 exact replicas of itself. The probe would then send those 1,000 copies to 1,000 other solar systems, each with the instruction to build 1,000 more replicas to send to 1,000 more solar systems, and so on and so forth. It's exponential growth. The idea of these von Neumann probes was later adapted into the monoliths from the most iconic sci-fi movie of all time, 2001: A Space Odyssey. If you've never seen 2001, that's fair. It's slow. But the purpose of the monoliths in this movie? They're tools, probes used by a hyper-advanced alien civilization to keep an eye on our solar system. And in the books the movie's based on, there are tons of them scattered throughout the whole solar system and beyond.
Which could explain why some of Dr. Nowhere's obelisks are located on the moon, even though they're supposed to be human.
But most importantly, the monoliths were meant to give out knowledge and encourage technological development. Black monuments that give out knowledge to us lowly humans that have a connection to the great universe beyond our world? That sounds really familiar, right? Almost exactly like the obelisks of enlightenment from the Oddity Compendium. The only real difference here is that we know that the obelisks used to be human. According to Dr. Nowhere's Instagram, the obelisks were once one of us.
But it still works. At the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey, spoiler alert, the main protagonist reaches out to one of the black obelisks on his deathbed and gets transformed into a giant alien space baby with infinite knowledge.
Man, that movie is really weird when you describe it without a point of reference, huh?
It's a lot like the obelisks. These things are just a body horror spin on that space baby and von Neumann's idea of a self-replicating probe. The knowledge transforms these humans into obelisks, using them as a raw material.
That is so dark. These things are just analog horror alien probes. I kind of love it.
I am slightly less enthusiastic about alien probes than you, but I do like the creativity and horror of it all. Much more cosmic in its horror this time around as opposed to the more grounded, boiled one.
You'd think, but don't make that judgment call just yet.
Oh,
See,
no.
The Oddity Compendium treats us to a bonus anomaly at the end of the video. This is Philbus, an unknown being who encourages people to eat chairs.
From cosmic pillars of enlightenment to eating chairs.
People who watch media
eating
with Philbus
chairs?
feel an overwhelming need to follow him, and anything talking about Philbus inevitably turns into an ad for Philbus. Philbism is an excellent way of life. Consume chairs today.
So what you're telling me is that he's your typical YouTuber. You subscribe to him and he constantly self-promotes. Wait, this seems a little off, doesn't it? I mean, this whole video's been about these horrific body horror and cosmic horror creatures. Mattresses eating people, universe of headless corpses, it's getting strung out to the length of obelisks. And there's this guy, Philbus. One of these things is clearly not like the others. Philbus seems funny, right? It's an odd choice for your creepy analog horror video.
Funny and weird.
There's a whole undercurrent of weird comedic moments throughout this entire upload. The puns, the dad jokes, and there's straight up a laugh track under a lot of what we're watching.
Great, because you might want to hang out tight to it for this next one. Talk about being open-minded.
Given everything else that we've seen in the video, for as fun as these are, it does feel really out of place.
It does feel a little out of place. You're just showing us what will inevitably be like jump scares and, you know, showing horrible description, showing like horrible like results of what happened, and you putting a laugh track on it? What, is Philbus actually there?
What do you think's going on here, Lee?
I'm glad you noticed this too, Matt. That actually jumped out at me the first time I watched through the compendium, and combined with the immediate subversion of the expectation that this is all going to be taking place in a shared universe, that we are instead jumping around to different worlds and witnessing the darkness in each of them, it reminded me of something. Think about it. In this video, we are clearly supposed to be the viewer, right? The people sitting back comfortably watching this real VHS tape and jumping around to these different worlds. We are getting glimpses into these wildly different ideas and looking at these horrific monsters. And then we sit back, we theorize, and
we laugh.
Doesn't that remind you of something?
I didn't expect that.
I don't think I trust this guy.
I don't like it. Please go away. I like how mildly perturbed that is. Yeah, it actually does. It reminds me of us. Of All of us. Sure, there's absolutely me on the GT Live couch, but I'm not the only one.
All of us sit back and watch these different analog horror videos and series on YouTube. We hop around from creator to creator, from Dr. Nowhere to Unknowingly to Kane Pixels and beyond.
Yeah.
It peeks into their individual worlds, the lives of the characters they make, and the mysteries they've set up. And then some of us try to look for deeper meaning. We do YouTube reactions and theories, and oftentimes our reaction to these awful, horrible things is jokes and laughter.
It's true, and GT Live is the perfect example of it. We watch, we get spooked, then we laugh, despite the objectively awful things that we're witnessing in these horror universes.
And really, that's what I believe the subtext of the Oddity Compendium here is. We are the laugh track. We are the people enjoying the misfortune of these people in this multiverse of horror. That's partly
Look,
why
man.
a lot of Dr. Nowhere's monsters have different art styles or mediums. They're all in different universes that we're getting peeks into. And this may be why the obelisks have the same face as the Dr. Nowhere character. They know that the truth of their universe is that they're just another analog horror world meant to be watched and to be scary. Just like how
Look, man. Sometimes we laugh to, distract ourselves from the motion of fear, okay? It has nothing to do with us laughing at the misfortune of others. That's when we couldn't happen to me, though. But, I digress. But let's continue.
Dr. Nowhere
Pop
made
off,
the
I guess.
boiled one as a commentary on how real-world horrific events can either cripple you or make you stronger. The Oddity Compendium is a commentary about how we, both as content creators watching analog horror and as humans watching the truly awful events happening across the world, can see those tragedies and cope with laughter. We just have to make sure that that's not the only way we react.
Well said, Lee.
Thanks, man. I could really unwind after all that.
Well, hey, isn't it a wonderful time then to have Lorefy for you to go check
Ah,
out
come
right
on.
now? Once again, you could go watch our animations on YouTube or head on over to Spotify to listen. All the links are in the description below. I cannot wait to see you guys start unraveling the story.
And I can't wait to make that theory. But until then, remember...
Alright, well, I guess we're just gonna have to... I can't get it off me, I guess. So anyways, guys, that's going to be the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like the video so I know you guys enjoy. Comment down below. What do you guys think? Honestly, man, all I'm just saying is this. You didn't have to call us out like that, though. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, like, what else is there, to be honest? Like, of course, we're going to have to find some way for us to laugh. Because, I don't know, man. Like, dang, man. Outing us out, I see. And, hopefully this video is a little bit mild, a little bit more, not too personal like the last video. Hopefully, basically what I'm trying to say is hopefully this video doesn't get taken out. Because at least this one, it doesn't talk about serious stuff. Well, I mean, it does, but not the way that the last video was about. So anyways, make sure you like the video so I know you guys enjoy, and go ahead and check out the two. I left the channel description. I left the channel links to the two channels, Alex the Wolf YouTube as well as Juan Gamers Extra, because tomorrow starts the month of FNAF, and best believe I'm going to lock in for the month of August. We got a lot of projects coming up. Maybe some gotcha music videos about FNAF, maybe some stuff about FNAF, and so on. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that we're going to at least try to upload a little bit more frequently than we usually do. But anyways, guys, this is OneGamer54, signing off.